Hello, ladies. My name is Pearl Duchess Taylor, and I'm 84 years old. And do we know what our man would really do for us? So this is my story about my man of 40 years and what he's done for me. Well, I met Chris, the real deal, while he was in prison. He was a handsome, young, smooth-talking young man, young boy, he would call himself. And I'm 18 years his senior. 18 years is a long time. Well, he had written a newspaper article, and he called it The Real Prison. It had been put in a newspaper, and when I read it, I was touched. And I was married, at that time, married to 29 years to my previous husband. He was a good man, and we had 4 great sons together. And I showed my husband the article, and he was also touched. And so much that he decided, and we decided, that we would go visit him. And for the sake of this video, he was charming, handsome, and he knew how to talk. And we were both taken away by him. He really knew how to talk. It's so many stories. Those stories, but I fell in love with him. A love that destroyed my marriage to my previous husband. And the hearts of my family and grown children were broken. I did that to them. I left my previous husband to venture into a world I knew nothing about, and I was following my heart. I just want to make it clear that my ex-husband was a very good man and a good father, and he had grown out of love, but I had grown out of love with him at these times. But little did I know, he had a number of women following him, other women following him, their heart as well. But I stood faithfully by him. It wasn't easy. I just knew we were meant to be together. It was hard, it was painful, and I was very disrespected. But nevertheless, I stood firm and strong by his side. But to cut it short, all of his womanizing, it came to an end in the year of 2001. And then he told me on a visit when we were together, I'm giving up everything. I'm doing it, and I'm doing it just for you. Now, hearing those words, I did cry, and I wanted to believe him so badly, but as time went by, till the day of his release in June 2nd, 2022, he stood by his word. He didn't lie to me. He knew what he was saying. And on our way to our new home, he told me, I will stand faithfully by your side. He did tell me that. And then he said, you stood faithfully by my side for 38 years. That's a long, long time, 38 years. And never once did you ever disrespect me. Now in 2025, he stood by his word. And as an older woman, I have had older women problems. And since he's been out, I've had to learn to live with we've had to learn to live with each other. It wasn't easy because he had so much to learn about this new world, but he was determined to do it. And then came the many health problems that I had. I had difficulty walking due to my back, and we had moved, and so we had to move from a 2-bedroom apartment to a 1-bedroom apartment due to the stairs. He was always using his sick time and vacation time to take care of me. And then I found out I had to have a hip replacement. And it got so bad that he ended up sleeping on the couch because of the pain. I did interrupt his sleep if he had stayed in the bed. We got up at 5 a.m. every morning, or he did, and then he'd go to work. Off he'd go. But I felt so bad. He had just gotten out of prison after doing all those 44 years just to take care of me, his wife, his aging wife at that. Now, the truth be told, I would sometimes pray that God would even take me home so he could just continue living his life. I really did that. After surgery, a few months later, he had planned a trip to go to Kentucky to see his family. But that was ruined also because I had a stroke and ended up in the hospital once again. And it spoiled his plans to go to Kentucky because he refused to leave me alone. And months later, I asked him why. I asked him, why does he care for me the way he does? And he does all the cooking and the cleaning and the working and the errands and the shopping and taking care of our cat and dog. And he never did complain. He just did it. He'd look at me with a smile and say, I truly love you, and you never gave up on me. I would have died. He said I would have died in prison if it wasn't for you and your love that gave me life, and I know he meant every word of it. And as for my family and children, they too have forgiven him and respect him just as I do. And last week we went to Kentucky, where he spent his first Christmas with his mom, his brothers and sister, and we had a great time. I'd never seen him so happy. It was a wonderful time. And so once again, I ask, what would you do to show his love for you? What would your man do? What would your man do to show his love for you? And I just shared a small part of what my man has done for me. So think about it. And I want to thank you for listening, and have a blessed 2025. So this is Pearl Duchess Taylor and Chris the Real Deal. Thank you.